All right, let's go ahead and figure out what's going on here. Solve the equation. Okay, I'm gonna make this super big so I have plenty of space. So I see to the 4/3, so I'm gonna raise this to the 3/4. To the 3/4, I gotta do that to both sides. So those go away. That means find the 4th root of 625, which is 5, and then cube it, which is 125. And then you got 30x plus 5. Oh, okay. So then 30x is 120, and therefore x is 4. Oh, that wasn't too scary. Looks scary, though. This one, I'm going to add 9 first. So that's going to give me negative 3645. And then I'm going to divide by negative 5. So that's going to give me 729. And then similar to last time, I'm going to raise this to the 2/3, because those will go away. Raise this to the 2/3. And the cube root of 729 is 9. And then squared is 81. So that's what x is. Provide the exact and approximate solution. Okay. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. I'm going to go two different ways. One way, you can go to log form. So that's going to be the log base 15 of 9 is x plus 6. And then you subtract 6 from both sides. And that's what x is. Another direction you could go would be to take like the natural log of both sides. I pick natural log because it's fewer letters. So if I do the natural log of 15 to the x plus 6 equals the natural log of 9. This jumps to the front. So you're going to have x plus 6 natural log of 15 equals the natural log of 9. Divide by the natural log of 15. So the natural log of 9 over the natural log of 15. And then subtract 6. So if I do that calculation on my calculator, natural log of 9 over the natural log of 15 minus 6, I get negative 5.189. You don't have to do both directions, but you needed to have an exact value. So both directions gave me exact values. Alrighty, next one. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. 30. I'm going to do the same thing. So I could write this as the log base 9 of 30 is 4b. Divide by 4. And that's one direction you could go. Another direction you could go would be take the natural log of both sides. So that's going to be 4b. Natural log of 9 is the natural log of 30. Divide by the natural log of 9 and 4. And you get there. So I got the natural log of 30 divided by, careful with your parentheses on this part, natural log of 9. I got 0.387. What's next for me? Ooh, money. Travis deposits $1,800 in a savings account, has 3.5 interest rate. Yeah, right? That's a high interest rate for a savings account. And he forgets about it. Find the amount of money in his account after 30 years if it is compounded yearly. So that would be your $1,800. 1 plus 0.035, because that's annually, for 20 years. So 1,800, 1,035, raised to the 20th. And you should get $3,581.62. If it's compounded monthly, so same idea, 1 plus 0.035, but you got to break that into 12 pieces, and then you got to do 12 times 20 up here. Careful with your parentheses. So 1 plus 0.035 over 12 raised to the 12 times 20 and that's 36.21. We're not talking huge amounts of money here. Daily, well, there are 365 days. I suppose you could use 365 and a quarter, but I think we'll use 365. 365 times 20, so 1800. 1 plus 0.035 over 365 raised to the 365 times 20. So it's, what, $3 more? Whoopity-doo. And then, how long will it take for his account balance to double if it is compounded continuously? So that's that 1800 e to the rate times time. And you need it to double, so you need 3600. So let's divide. That's that PE to the RT thing that isn't realistic with money, but we can pretend. So divide, that's 2. Take the natural log of both sides, and you're going to have equals the natural log of 2. Divide by 0.035. Natural log of 2 divided by 0.035 is 19.8 years, which makes sense because 3600 is about what we had up there. So basically 20 years. Convert the following rectangular coordinates to polar coordinates. Alrighty. So if I have this triangle, this is theta, this is r, this is x, this is y. This is r, and this is theta. So, I don't know, the cosine of theta is x over r, so r cosine theta is x. So if I do r cosine theta, hold on, I'm doing it backwards. I read the directions backwards. Try again. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. This is x and this is y. So I got to find r and theta. So to find r, I take back my previous discussion and let's go back to here. To find r, I know that x squared plus y squared is r squared. So x squared, I forgot to square it, plus y squared is r squared. That's 4 times 3, which is 12, plus 4, so r squared is 16, which means r is 4. And then to find theta, I could just do this sort of idea. So cosine of theta is x over r, which is root 3 over 2, but of the negative variety. And so that's going to be in second quadrant, and that's going to be like a pi over 6, but 5 pi over 6. For negative 4. Wait a minute. This should be, sorry, I put that in the wrong quadrant. 7 pi over 6. That'll work better. Okay, if you're wondering why, because negative 2 root 3, negative 2 is in third quadrant. Next one, let's do the same idea. That's xy. So x squared plus y squared is r squared. So 16 and 16 is r squared. So r is the square root of 32, which I could also, if I wanted to, write as 4 root 2. Doesn't matter which way you write it. And then let's go with the tangent. The tangent of theta, if we look back at our picture, the tangent of theta is y over x. This is another way to do it. Doesn't really matter. And so that's going to be the tangent of theta is negative 1. And for negative 4 is here. Negative 1. So this is going to be pi over 4, but negative. So I could think of it as negative pi over 4. You could also think of it as 7 pi over 4 if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. All right. Now this is where I thought we were going to, so I'm going to move it right there. So r cosine theta is x. So this is r and theta. So if I do r cosine 11 pi over 6. Well, the cosine of pi over 6 is root 3 over 2. 11 pi over 6 is in quadrant 4, so it's also root 3 over 2. So that's 5 root 3 over 2. And then for the y, it's r sine theta. So r sine 11 pi over 6. And so that's going to be 5 times a half, but negative. So negative 5 halves. Next one, same idea. R cosine theta. And then r sine theta. Cosine of 3 pi over 4 is that second quadrant. So negative root 2 over 2 times negative 2. It's just going to be root 2. And then sine of 3 pi over 4 is root 2 over 2 times negative 2 is going to be negative root 2. Did those. What do we got here? Convert polar to rectangular. Well, I mean, we just talked about sine theta. If we look back at our picture, sine theta was y over r. So we could go here, which means we could multiply by r. R squared is x squared plus y squared. And so that's going to be x squared plus y squared plus 8y. Theoretically, I would want to go, okay, so x squared plus, I'm going to call this 8y plus 16, because that will wrap this into a nice completing the square thing, so y plus 4 squared, because that will be a prettier form. If you had left the y squared plus 8y, you're technically, yes. This kicks me in the face as to what it is. It's a circle. Convert rectangular to polar. R should be isolated in terms of theta. Well, we just talked about y is r sine theta, and x is r cosine theta. So r sine theta, negative 2 r cosine theta, plus 3. So let's go ahead, I don't know, move the r cosine theta thing over to the left side. Factor out the r. Oh, I'm going to show that. It's going to scare you. Hold on. You'll be left with sine theta plus 2 cosine theta equals 3. And then divide. 3 over sine theta plus 2 cosine theta. You could put those into Desmos and verify that that information is correct, if that is helpful. But that's all we got here.